98% of the things that go wrong in ways that we know they're going to go wrong. The survey shows time and again, password abuse, all of it. 98% of the kiddies that die in Africa die because they haven't got fresh water. And we know how to give them fresh water, we just don't do it. That's shaming, and so is shaming the way that our industry, our security industry, all these vendors that you're seeing are providing wonderful services, but they're not being implemented because people aren't just being brought along with it. And as a result, it's the simple things that go wrong. All of the security breaches you read about, they're all caused by the Mark I human being. They are not caused by technology failures. And they happen despite the money that the organizations have spent on IT security. And it's because that missing link, the person, the human factor, the user, the employee, doesn't have sufficient training and awareness. How many people are there in your security department? Some people have, I would normally go through the questions and answers process here. Anybody here between 0 and 5, 5 to 10, the hands sort of slowly start to fall. And I say, does anybody in this room have a security department of, say, 100 people? No. Or 1,000 people? What? Or 50,000? Ah, right. Your security department should be the same size as your organization, because every single employee should be out there helping you. And if you make them aware, tell them what the rules are, ask them to follow those rules, the simple rules, and where to ask for help, then you're home and dry. Awareness is the oil that makes the engine work. You've spent all this money on security and fraud prevention. If it's not working, there has to be a reason, and the reason is that we've not brought the troops along with us, and that's where awareness comes in. There is a world of difference between a breach of security and a breach of trust. Every single employee is inside the fence in one way or another. If I invite you to stay for the night, and in the middle of the night you steal all my money, that is not a breach of security, that is a breach of trust. We may have solved the breaches of security by putting in our technical defenses, but this is where people either deliberately or accidentally let us down. Interestingly, the final conclusions of the BERR report were, the first two are almost bland statements, but the first real issue they highlight is to integrate security, fraud prevention, crime prevention, into normal business behavior through clear policy and staff education. And I've always said for 20 odd years now, pound for pound, raising awareness amongst your workforce will improve your security so much more than any other physical or technical defenses can ever hope to achieve. Security, I'm doing all right. I've got 3 minutes. It might take 4. Security is not about being killed by an alligator. It's about being nibbled to death by 1,000 chickens. In fact, we had a campaign once with one client, it was called a kill a chicken a day. Unfortunately, you couldn't do that today. There's probably some, chicken protection league somewhere that would stop you. But the point I'm making is that when things go wrong, it is never a big catastrophic event. It's always little things that go wrong. And if they all add up, then the disaster happens. The breach happens, the theft happens, the loss happens. And if you can stop any one of those things in sequence happening, then you end up not having the security breach. And it's your people that will stop those little things happening, because they'll be out shooting chickens. Very briefly, this is a very sad story, but one that is terribly relevant to what I'm trying to achieve in your minds today. 6 years ago now, an Aeroflot plane full of kiddies ran into a DHL transport aircraft over Germany, and they crashed and were all killed. As the story unfolded, I realized what was behind this. It was chickens. Imagine the scene: Zurich Air Traffic Control Tower late at night. Should have 3 controllers. They only had 2 because Fritz, or whatever his name was, turned in sick. And instead of somebody saying, oh, we better get the 3rd one in, they said, oh, we'll run light. We'll run light. It'll be all right. First chicken. And then the second guy needed to go for a cigarette and smoke and pee and all the rest of it, as is normal. So now you've got one guy on his own. And at that point, 5 jets appeared in the sky all at once. Shit happens, It was most unusual. But all of a sudden, 5 overhead, because that's what the world does to you. It serves up the cards when you least want them. So now he's got 5 jets, he's on his own, he's got no help. So the normal, pick up the phone and talk to Friedrichshafen, the next air traffic control down the chain, normal stuff. For 8 crucial minutes, those 8 minutes, without telling anyone, the telephone engineers had taken the lines down for routine maintenance, because that's what happens in life. But it's okay because there's computer software that will identify when things are going to go wrong. I know, that had been down for 8 months because there was an argument going on between the air traffic authorities and the software providers. So that chicken had been waiting for 8 months, and that was a big chicken. And eventually the aircraft collided. The guy was trying to talk to the Russian in English, and he was German, and it all went haywire, and they crashed for all of those little reasons adding up to cause the accident. And there is so little difference between flight safety and security. They are aligned subjects. And I use that story because it's a terribly informative way of how, if only one of those things, no, we need to get 9, sorry, because they were in Switzerland, but we need to get another man in for the night. Or somebody had said, you know, can you please call me before you take the telephones down? Then, you know, it would never have happened. And my final point, 2 years later, the father of 2 of the kiddies came down and stabbed the air traffic controller to death on his own doorstep. So even when you think you've recovered from a security breach, it can always come back and bite you. Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. I am very passionate about this subject. Tony is as well. I'd be very happy if anybody wanted to contact me about the ISAF or the SASIG or anything else, then please let me know. But otherwise, thank you.